What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Sports Card Madness, the podcast that focuses on sports cards, collectibles, the hobby, and everything else in between. For today's episode, we sat down with Jay from Mojo Sports. He is crushing it as an influencer in the hobby, and he told us so many cool stories about his autograph chases, his collection, and his thoughts on the hobby and how you can get started. You definitely don't want to miss this one. Let's go.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ lane.
Kick is on the way, and it is good! It's good!
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sports Card Madness. I'm here with LZ like usual, and today we have a special guest, Jay from Mojo Sports. What's going on, Jay? How you doing?
Oh man, glad to be here. What's up?
All right,
Awesome.
Jay, great to have you.
Yeah, we're psyched to have you here. I mean, I'm trying to think how I think of you. You know, you're pretty massive in the hobby, but you're almost, I know you as an autograph chaser. I know you as a card dealer. I know you as a fan of different players. I just figured, I could give you a chance, just to introduce yourself. What do you think of what you do as, or, what do you do in the hobby?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I feel like I've lived like 10 different lives as a collector, and I feel like everyone kind of does that. You graph or you collect or you sell or you go to shows or you open a shop or whatever we do. I mean, right now, man, it's just like a lot of media and marketing. I'm just a hobbyist, man. I'm just like I'm a cheerleader for the hobby, man. Like I'm all in. Like I just want to put the hobby on, and I want people to enjoy it. So I feel like that's my role now. But I've definitely gone from like being an administrator of 50,000 people on this autographs group, dealing with agents from, memorabilia deals and, being a kid getting autographs at the hotel to opening packs to now, doing all this, but and doing this as a business. I love it as a business as well, because it's fun. So I try to balance it out.
That's crazy. So you managed a site like a Facebook group or something like that, or a discussion board with
Yeah.
50,000 people?
Yeah. When I was, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. When I was in high school, I started this group called Autographs 101, and it's where a lot of like agents and people would do private autograph signings. So I did that from high school up until college, and then leading into like later on, and then COVID happened and kind of moved on from that. So yeah, it was
Wow.
big though. It's like the biggest autograph group. Nobody did autograph Facebook groups. Now there's like 1,000 of them, Funkos, all these other groups. But I still think we're one of the first ones that was ever done.
That's incredible. Wow, 50,000. So in agents. So talk to us about so you were meeting agents as part of that group. So you were opening doors at a very young age for yourself then in this hobby.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of like people organize private signings through my Facebook
Sure.
group, doing signings with like Donovan McNabb, Mike Tyson's first signings, stuff like that. And people were doing like mail-in orders through that Facebook group, and it was free, so anybody could do it. I just policed the group, administered it, and I just wanted people to have a good time. And then I sold autographs in there full time.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Cool.
So was that how you got started in the hobby, or did you? I'm guessing it isn't. You must have been into this before then as a kid or something, right?
Yeah. I mean, my mom took me to Target. It was actually funny. I literally have this. We filmed a video with this. I'm gonna buy the pack soon. My mom. This is my first pack of cards I ever opened. 2011.
Okay.
So I wasn't the
2011
'90s. I wasn't a '90s collector. I was a post-recession kid collecting in 2009, actually. But my first pack of cards was 2011. So I started at Target, and then I started getting autographs. I met Kobe when I was a junior in high school and stuff like that. And then all these shoes up here are all game used shoes from NBA players. So like when I was a kid, like I mean, there's just it's the history and of my roots is in memorabilia and cards and autographs.
All right, I got to hear about Kobe. How did you meet Kobe in high school? Like where did you meet him?
That was really casual. You say I just met Kobe, like whatever.
I met Kobe twice. So the first time I met him in high school was at a team hotel, and then the second time I met him was at a Sports Illustrated event with Dwayne Wade, and I actually got him to sign a shoe that I played basketball in. The first time though, when I met Kobe, I actually still have it somewhere behind me, but I knew where the Lakers were staying. They were staying at this hotel. It's called the Citizen. Some teams used to stay there. Kobe wasn't playing that day, and this is when Kobe, Gasol, Andrew Bynum, the squad, were still rolling. And I went to the team hotel and I made this sign that said "King of Basketball every day, Kobe." And Kobe's security guard came out. And he's like, "Hey, Kobe's gonna sign. This is really rare. Just keep cool." And it was 4 of us, and these kids next to me were getting Beats by Dre sign, and I had like an 8x10. So I had the sign and I was holding it, and Kobe came over and I started tearing up. And like Kobe put his hand on my shoulder and I had the photo and I was like shaking, and he signed it. And then like the pen dropped on it, which is notorious because on the K you can kind of see it. But I remember just like freaking out because everyone told me, "Oh, don't waste your time getting Kobe's autograph. He's not going to sign." And I think this is just grit and grind. Part of my personality is I love like I'm persistent and very passionate when I want something. So I got Kobe that day, and I was just a kid in a candy store.
Oh, that's a great lesson. Just keep trying. Yeah, just be
That's incredible.
persistent.
Yeah, you got to be persistent. I think that's autographs taught me. Getting actual autographs signed taught me a lot about communication and just going in and like just trying your hardest.
Nick and I actually talk about that a lot. We talk about me and Nick both have younger children, and we talk about getting them into the hobby and this being a great experience for them, the autograph side of it, right? Whether it's in person, thank you, having good, manners, or it's some sort of TTM where you're writing a nice note. So that's spot on. Going off of that, with everything that you do in the hobby and thinking about you when you were a kid and kind of getting those Kobe autos, like there's a lot going on in the hobby right now. Like there's just so many different, and that's one of the reasons why me and Nick do this podcast, is to talk to great people like you and introduce all the different sides of the hobby. But things you can probably get, well, I know you can get overwhelmed and overloaded. Where do you, if someone's just starting out in the hobby, like where do you think they should start? Like where's a good, like what advice would you give your younger self getting into the hobby with everything new that's going on now?
Yeah. Well, I think like younger me, it's so cool to talk about this because the younger me was a true collector. I said in my last video that I see 15 5-row boxes next to me, and they have Kings and DeMarcus and San Francisco Giants, the 2010, 2012, 2014. Obviously my new Rogers PC. I have boxes from when I was a kid, and I think like when I collected in 2009, it was all about collecting, and it was very affordable. LeBron James autographs were $220. Kobe autos were $70. Like I owned some of the cool cards as a kid, and I didn't even realize how they could be valuable or assets. Nobody was thinking like that. Like we would flip cards to buy. I'd flip a card like a Kobe to buy like a cooler DeMarcus card, or it was just it was a lot different. And then like PSA slabs, like this kind of stuff. Like, I mean, for me, at least, from my community side of things, we weren't really into grading. It was just like autographs, and like you'd open a hobby box and like pull like a Geno Smith autograph and you'd be like through the moon. I know he's good now, but I mean, still at the time, like there was like after you pulled that and like RG3 and Andrew Luck, like nobody was going for their rookie cards. You were just going for their auto patch or auto, most of the rookies you just give the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a lot different. Like I think a lot of people, I guess the answer to your question is like find a PC, like find a personal collection. Because if you're a collector first, you can do the business, no problem. And like when you're upset with your business, you always have the hobby. Like you got to love the hobby though. Like people can see through that,
Mm-hmm.
You gotta love
that's
the hobby
definitely a
before
theme.
you ever step foot into making any type of monetary value.
Mm-hmm.
I've loved the hobby since I started. I mean, I kept the first pack of cards I opened, and like I got teary-eyed talking about it because it just like, if my mom and dad don't know anything about cards, but my mom took me if she doesn't take me to Target, if I don't meet DeMarcus in my lifetime, am I still here? This hobby changed my life, and it brought me so much joy, and I see other people experience that. And I think that's like the best part. That's what brings us all together.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's really interesting. One of the things you got kind of lucky, 2012 Prism, in my opinion, is, pretty big set. I think the way we look at 86 Fleer, we'll probably look at 2012 Prism pretty soon. And you were probably buying those for, I don't know, $1 a piece or whatever they cost at the time. And I'm sure have quite the set.
I bought Luka Prism rookies for $20 each. I owned 40 of them. I sold them and flipped them so fast. Like
that's nuts.
But we were getting them to get autographed. They were only $20. No, it wasn't like, and it's just like, you're right, it was luck. I don't think like in my mind I ever saw Prism rookies being worth that much. Even when I went to the Dallas Card Show the first time, I brought all my base Prism. Go watch that video. I brought all these base rookies, and it, like, looking back, it was like, it looked ridiculous to see like a Siakam rookie $150. Like, some of my videos, some people are commenting now like, dude, those deals make no sense, and they don't. A Patrick Mahomes base rookie for a Justin Herbert rookie 10 autograph, like. Well, and then I got burned too, but I mean, that is what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
hindsight
the hobby.
is always funny.
Mhm.
Tatis. Oh my God, Tatis. That's a name that I've been just looking back on. All these people are commenting on this one national video where I traded this big Tatis card, and it's like, I see the comments, and I'm like, yo, this was like 2020.
Oh, that's
It
tough.
wasn't last week.
You have like it's almost like you have video evidence of all your good and bad trades and bad deals, so people can always
Dude,
go
we-
back and just
You
nail
can
you.
always go back. Like,
Oh,
I think that's the coolest part is we have it all in a Google Drive. So like one day, like, you know, Netflix, Hulu, like we recorded so much of like the craziness that like in 10 years I could see us like, yo, we've got this footage like from 2020, it's 2031. I think you guys could use this.
That's wild.
Yes. Great
So,
idea.
Nobody
Hmm.
recorded in the 90s, you know, so it's like, this is good.
Yeah.
So one of the things I've noticed in the hobby, you know, over the last 10 years, I'm sure you've seen it, you've probably risen with it. This whole like breaking boom, you know, I guess that's what I call it. Well, especially over the last few years. How do you kind of feel about breaking, or how did you see breaking change the hobby since you've been in it since it began pretty much?
Yeah, you know, breaking for me, I broke when I was, 13, 14 years old in this room on a Timeless Treasures 2010-11 box with my little iPhone. And the teams were $3.50, and it was 30 teams. You make $20. I used that money to go see Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows Part 2, The Prophet, you know?
Good memory.
Never, dude, I remember my parents never gave me the money. My parents said, if you're gonna do this, you got to figure it out, you know. And that's why I hustled autographs, because I was like, I can learn how to do this, you know. But breaking, like, I don't, that's not my thing, you know. I did so much. I broke when there was Blowout Forums, Blog TV. And people that are like remember this era will know exactly what I'm talking about. When you mention Blog TV and Blowout Forums, it coexists completely. That's a different era. You know, now everyone wants to be a breaker. And I know Tops is really into this breaking thing, but I think like at the end of it, like, breaking's cool, but I think like I do think personal rips for people when they come into your shop, I guess it's similar. Like, you could sell breaks from anywhere. But I mean, it's huge. Everyone's been placing a lot of value on breaking. And I personally don't rip like cases and cases and cases or any type of rips. I'll do like a personal rip every once in a while for people, or I just rip like 2-3 boxes a month, only because I just enjoy it. I open, and another thing too, I opened so much wax when I was younger. It was so affordable. 2010, you want to hear something funny? I'll never forget it. We're at Teammate Sports Card in Sacramento. My friend's opening a 2010-11 limited basketball box, right? So you're thinking John Wall, Jeremy Lin, not Jeremy Lin really at the time, but Paul George, you know, whatever else. Everyone was, Eric Bledsoe was good at one point. So my friend opens the box. He pulls a Steph Curry out of 5 logo kind of auto, and we both look at each other. I'm like, oh, this sucks. So good. His ankles are horrible. And he sold the card for I think like $100. And like 6 figures now.
Oh man, that's so painful.
At the time, that's the thing though. It's crazy, the hobby. Like, at the time, Steph Curry wasn't the guy because his ankle was so bad, and you know, everyone was on Tyreek Evans and Brandon Jennings, and Blake Griffin was huge.
Yep.
So I don't know. I know breaking. I didn't like go into like the specifics. I'm just getting into my nostalgic part of it. It's just I think I'm burnt out. You know.
Yeah. You were doing it in the beginning in your own way, right? In like your bedroom, like with your friends.
Some people are making like $300 a break now. I'm just like,
yeah.
I have some friends who also just participate in breaks, and they're actually burnt out doing it. They just did way too much of it for like a full year, and they've just like stepped away from it now.
Well, I think a lot of people realize like you could just buy what you like. You could trying to pull this Color Blast. What a great example. Instead of trying to pull this for, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 down the hole, just buy it for $300.
Right. Right.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting.
But I
I mean,
think
I
there's
wonder.
I think the Willy Wonka mentality, like the thrill is there though. And
Yeah.
I got it out of my system when I was a kid.
Yeah, we've entered the what I call it. I need a catchier name, but I feel like it's almost like the scratch ticket era of collecting, where I mean, we're creating so much trash. Almost, it's just like lottery ticket, and you're just trying to get something. And we're doing it for packs, we're doing it for redemptions. I mean, there is a time and place though. Like if you're a Jets fan, right, and you just want to buy into a Jets player break or something like that, that's cool. You know, maybe you couldn't get that player, you couldn't like buy into something or afford that any other way, and you like that team, so that could be interesting. But yeah, I guess there's a time and place, right? But a lot of us are burnt out.
Yeah. Yeah. Jay, speaking of breaks, I know Fanatics is going hard at breaking right now, and they're disrupting the whole hobby. What are your thoughts on, Fanatics like going all in on the hobby, and what are your experiences? What are you seeing that they're doing well? Maybe areas that you were hoping they were doing more? Just curious.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fanatics just getting started,
Yeah.
and I think it's just so early to tell. I think our hobby panics really fast. That's a thing that like needs to kind of change. Is everybody's panicking when we don't even know what they're gonna do. I mean, Topps hobby rip night across the nation was amazing. Brady, Tatum, Scoot Henderson showed up to the shop I was at, and I just think Fanatics is focused on marketing the hobby correctly and experience. When
Mhm.
they release retail at Target, instead of Panini just putting boxes on the shelf, I think Fanatics would actually bring like, hey, Justin Jefferson's going to be at the Mall of America Target. If you buy 2 boxes, you can meet him and get your box signed. Like that's what Fanatics will do, and I think that's like what I'm looking forward to. Once again, I'm a hobbyist, so like I'm speaking as a collector now. I
Mhm.
think like I think Topps and Fanatics will do, the access is amazing. I just don't think the hobby's been marketed well. People say that all the time, and I actually think that Fanatics is stepping up to the plate and giving the experience. Like if they did this taco fractor thing, I just made a YouTube video, will come out in a little bit about it, and I think it's interesting. Not good for the bathrooms, but it's a great opportunity. I do think what they could have done differently is they're giving, like, it's like you pull the taco fractor, you get the $15,000 gift card, whatever.
Mhm.
I think if you got Mookie Betts steals first and you get the Taco Bell, and then you get to like meet him and have like a taco with him, and then he gives you like the gloves from the steal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sick.
that would
They'll,
be sick.
they'll
Yeah,
listen to us. They're gonna listen to us. Like I
Yeah.
actually genuinely believe that when we want something, Fanatics and Topps will do it. Like versus Panini, I mean, it could be up in the air. I think it's just kind of like Panini's on the last. You remember Derek Jeter's Last Dance or Michael Jordan's Last Dance? Derek
Sure.
Jeter World Tour, Kobe Bryant, kind of it was over. I think Panini needs to step up and like, goodbye, like last 2 years, like let's have a good farewell. Let's have the redemptions be turned in for experiences. Let's reward our customers for, since we've had them since 2009. I think that's a positive way to look at it. Instead of like people, the hobby bashes so much, but nobody comes up with solutions.
right.
You
Yeah.
have a problem, you follow it up with a solution. Stop talking about the problem, talk about the solution. Like, and Topps and Fanatics will listen. They're going to listen to this shit. I bet you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're innovating. They're innovating in the space. And whenever you innovate, you're going to try things that are going to work, and you're going to try things that aren't going to work. And I'm sure they'll test some things out, and it won't work. But to the point that you made, it's all around experiences, in my opinion. And the more experiences they can give people, the more successful they're going to be. So 100% agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you have a card. It's a static picture of either a sports player or a fictional character, one of the two. And there's only so much you can do with it, right? You can look at it, you can display it, you can trade it. But when Fanatics comes in with the experience angle, it adds almost like a fourth dimension to it, right? Like now that card could represent an entry to something or a visit with someone. And it's like, okay, this is getting pretty cool, So I'm kind of looking forward to this. I mean, geez, like go rip a pack with like Travis Scott, like they just did. Like that's sick. Like it's awesome. So I'm excited personally.
Yeah, me too.
All right, Jay. So this one, I've been following you a while on Instagram, and I need the answer to this one. So it seems like you are the biggest Boogie Cousins fan on planet Earth. And he's a cool guy. He was a great player. I know you're a Kings fan, so that might be part of it, but I got to understand, like, what made you such a big Boogie fan and have such a big PC of Boogie? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, I credit the Kentucky basketball team, the John Wall era. I watched DeMarcus there, and I remember saying to myself, like, man, it would be so cool if this guy was drafted to the Kings, and he was drafted to the Kings. And I lashed on. I went to his pre-draft workout. I never told this. I haven't think I've told this story in 10 years, but I went to his pre-draft workout, and I met him, and I was like, hey, man, I know you're going to be here. And even if you're not here, you'll remember me because I'm going to buy every single sports car to you. And I'm going to be your biggest fan. And he laughed. And I mean, we talk on Instagram every once in a while, my personal, but it's funny how that happens. He just did a lot for me. If it wasn't for him and like guys like Rogers now more recently, that I like, and I just think a lot of the guys I have a PC with, I have a personal connection to. And I think personal connection for me is why I PC someone. And DeMarcus just did a lot for me. And I think that's important. I think it's like, if you guys ever collected autographs, if someone signs an autograph for you, it's a really good feeling. It's like, it's a feeling of like, I got closer to the game, and that person's plays professional sports and they're cool. Like, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Nick and I both are Celtics season ticket holders, and we have so many memories, him and I, of going to games, getting down there early, and meeting players, getting autographs, meeting celebrities, getting their autographs. Nick, the one that stands out to me when I think of Nick and I going to the games is Dallas Mavericks game. Mark Cuban walks in.
Oh, yeah.
And he comes right up to us. And we were scrambling because like, what are we going to get Mark Cuban to sign? And I think Nick pulled out like a $20 bill out of his pocket. And he's just like, Mark, can you sign this? But that little story, that's something I remember all the time, of just these experiences, right? The memories that you have of meeting these people and chasing these autographs.
Yeah. So Mark actually said, thanks for the 20. And he put it in his pocket at first. Then he signed it. But
that is amazing. Where is it at? Oh my gosh. I think I have it here. Where is it? Well, dude, this right here. Look at this. So I met Dana White.
$100 bill.
Dana White in Lake Tahoe. Right? We're in a casino. This is crazy. You mentioned money. So I see him. I'm like, oh shoot. He looks at me, makes eye contact. He knows I'm gonna talk to him, So he comes like right up to me, like, yo, Dana, it's nice to meet you, man. Appreciate what you're doing for the industry. I was like, I'm gonna put $100 tonight on red or black. What should I do? He pulls out $20,000. Like, put it on black tonight, my man. And he gave me this. I didn't use it. I didn't put it on black, but I want to get him to sign it. I should have gotten him to sign it, but I was just like, oh my God, do I bet this? Like, should I put this on black? Because Dana said to. So I've had it for a while. I actually was supposed to tell the story to someone else, but now I'm telling it to you guys.
That's cool.
I've had this sitting on my desk. But...
Now I think LZ, you've gotten Dana White through the mail,
I do,
right? Yeah. So
he TTMs.
Yeah,
he's an unbelievable guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure you can send it along and he'll remember you.
Yeah, write a note, write the story down.
Or keep it and buy lunch. You never know.
I'll do that. Yeah, that story you guys share about Mark Cuban, like, it's so funny because I can picture the scramble, the moment, being in the arena, just like, oh my God, what do we do? And then you just pull it out. Like, I can relate to that so much. I think that is cool. Like, versus like, oh, this card's down $50. Oh, it's been 3 weeks. Like, I just think it's overrated sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. You must have, you've already ripped off a bunch of stories, right? Boogie, you can tell Boogie really hits home with you. There's a lot of passion in you telling that story. And you talked about Kobe and mentioned Rogers and Dana White, but like, out of all those, or maybe it is a Boogie story, like, what is the most memorable autograph experience that you have?
It was last year.
Oh,
Lakers game.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to show you guys. It's literally right here.
Okay. I expected there to be a delay or something. You knew.
Yeah, you knew right away.
No. Because when I started traveling, I put all this away and in my safe, different locations. So I have like all my good stuff.
Cool.
Okay. It's either, gosh, I have to. I mean, I guess I have to. Yeah. Let's see.
So for the audience, he's digging through like jersey after jersey that looks signed. So
I met Jack Nicholson.
Oh, we've got a Funko.
A
The
Funko.
yeah.
Yep,
Joker
the
Funko.
Joker.
Perfect. Oh, I
Batman
love it.
Joker.
So he drove into the game and there was a bunch of people waiting, and I got him to sign, and he rolled the window down. He didn't say anything. He just signed for like a bazillion people and drove off.
Oh, that's awesome. The
That
blue
is-
paint pen looks real
This
nice.
is the holy grail for a lot of people. So Jack Nicholson, 100%. And then honorable mention. I know he got injured, but his physical therapy is going very well. I see Rogers every year, and he came up to me, showed me some love, and
All right.
I
So
right
Jay's holding up a Rogers jersey.
Says
right here.
Mojo, you're the man.
so Rogers is always showing love, man. And definitely he's a cool guy. He's literally my favorite player. So those two. I didn't even think
Awesome.
this is a video. This isn't a video podcast, right? It's more audio.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
mean, we
do
have a
more
YouTube
audio.
channel, but we focus on the audio.
Maybe we'll snip some of these up.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, those two. The Jack Nicholson, haven't really told that story much, but I mean, that's as good as it gets. That Funko, I mean, value $3,000 to $5,000 probably.
That blows
Yeah,
me
it's
away.
Just a quick swipe, your right time, right place. A fan.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's really
I mean,
cool.
living in LA, it was just the opportunities are endless there with that kind of stuff. It's like not as rare as you think. Like I
That is a
remember
good
running
point.
Clint Eastwood showed up to a restaurant I was dining near. It happens. But this I was prepared for because the rumor was that Jack was going to the games, and he was going to the games.
Yeah. And I think he like just started going to the games last season, right? That was like a big deal that he started showing up again.
He showed up to game 1, and then that was game 2.
Ah.
So it's
That's
kind of like,
wild.
okay, I gotta go to that arena at 4:00 and wait for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Try to get it.
That Funko's amazing. That's that's a really cool story. It's just awesome. Like you said, I can almost feel like what it was like being you in that moment, because we've all, if you've ever chased any autograph of anyone, it's the same thing every time. You stumble on your words. You think you have a plan, but then the Sharpie's backwards, or like you drop the card or whatever. So it's just like it's a really cool like 30 seconds of your life. It's just awesome.
Oh yeah.
Very cool. So Jay, we like to ask some of our guests this that are really tuned into the hobby. I like it because it can have a lot of different answers. So if you had $1,000, that's it. You could be a teenager, you could be 20 something, whatever. And you like sports and you want to get into the hobby. You want to put $1,000 into cards. What would you do and how would you spread it out?
I would do 500 for my PC, whoever I think I'm going to collect, and then the other 500 I would devote toward buying who I think I guess could flip or make me some money, which I would say the GOATs. You can't go wrong with Kobe and Jordan and Gretzky and Tiger Woods. And vintage like Mantle cards. Like the worst case, you buy a Mantle. I mean, unless you're like really throwing dimes out. If you're buying a Mantle for like 160, the worst case is it's 130, or the best case it's like 200. I've never seen vintage like really just like, unless it's like
Hank.
the $100,000 pump and dumps. Those are disastrous, but that's not my game.
Yeah, interesting. So it's a lot of our guests have said the same thing, and almost the same ratio too. They'll say, take half and just buy something you like. Just collect what you like, and that's really a message that's kind of coming through on most of the people that we talk to. And then, like you said, it's almost like the stock market. You think of like the blue chips, right? Nothing's going to happen to the value of Jordan, Kobe, the GOATs, LeBron. It's already booked. And then vintage even more so. I mean, that's like 70 years of being locked in. It's crazy. Especially LZ and I are big into the vintage card space and autos. And the reason I like it is because it's a scarce asset and they don't make them anymore. And they typically, it's not a roller coaster, like you said. So yeah, it's good advice.
Yeah, thanks, Jay. We always ask that question, but then we always ask this follow-up as well. So we got one more, one more for you.
Last question.
You have all these special relationships that you've already mentioned, especially with Boogie, but we are curious if you could have coffee or dinner with any athlete or sports-related figure, we'll say, who's either deceased or still with us, who would it be and why?
Oh man, that's a good question. I would say Jackie Robinson. I'd probably pick his brain and see what he was thinking about during that time, and like I would talk to him about cards and see like, hey, how could we make this healthy, and like what do you, I don't know, like ask him what he thinks about signing his own autograph, and like what the fans mean to him, and like what it meant to be considered the, you know, the guy that transcended the color barrier for baseball. I think it'd be interesting. We'd have to get, but he and I would have to get Slurpees, so that would be pretty interesting.
Oh, Slurpees. What flavor Slurpee?
Every single one in there, except
Oh, nice.
yeah, actually,
That's great.
I like
That's
that.
a theme. Jackie Robinson, we hear a lot. We hear Bill Russell a lot. But
Yeah.
Jackie and Bill are probably the two. that we
wait,
hear
okay,
the
I
most.
have to ask you guys a question.
Mm.
Who would you guys have coffee with, or whatever? What do you do with them? Who would it be and why?
Yeah. All right. You want to go, LZ? We did this in
Yeah,
our first
so-
episode.
Yeah, Nick asked me this already. Mine would be Red Auerbach, Celtics GM, coach. And it's almost just like trying to spread it out a bit more with him because he coached Bill Russell for a long time, right? So I'd be able to pick his brain on Bill and Kuzi and Havlicek, all those championships, and Larry Bird era and all that. And yeah, for me it would be him. I'm a huge Celtics fan. I'm a Celtics season ticket holder, so that one's near and dear to my heart.
What would you get him to sign if you had to get like one thing signed?
Ooh.
Only one thing signed. Both of you guys.
So he's a big cigar smoker. So I'd probably get like a cool like cigar like case and get him to sign that, or even ask if he had maybe an old one or one on him that he'd be willing to give up if I'm having an intimate dinner or something with him. I think that would be pretty cool.
I like it.
Yeah.
So for me, it was Babe Ruth, just because he was really the first sports player that was larger than sports, and almost a celebrity at the time. And I'm a sucker for history, and especially that era that he was in. I'd sit down and just be like, what is it like to be, a millionaire in 1920? Like, what are things like? What do you do? Where do you go on vacation? Like, I'd just be really interested in like what it was like, being in that time period. And then, in terms of sports, it's just, I mean, what didn't he do? Right. It's just like pitching and hitting and calling his shot, and just some of the just crazy stuff he's done on the field. Just want to like get in his brain and just find out how it works if I can. It would just be awesome. And I mean, what would I have him sign? I mean, it's easy to say like a bat or a glove or a ball or something like that. I don't know. I'd want something big I could display. I'm going to go with like a home plate, like something he stood on. Like, I want to make sure his cleats were on it. He signs that. I'm not cleaning that thing. I'm sticking that in a frame and we're done.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I have one more question for both of you.
Hey, yeah, keep them coming. This is great.
So you guys obviously got a lot of autographs.
Mhm.
I know you met Mark Cuban, but there's got to be like one, like what was like the one memory for each of you that like stood out, like when you were autographing, like one like special hit?
Yeah. I got one right
Mm.
now if you want to think for a minute, LZ.
You go first. I have mine
Sure.
though.
So, I've been a huge Jason Tatum fan ever since, I feel like when he got drafted, LZ and I were like, he's going to be great. We were pumped when he got drafted. And then when he made that first playoff run and he was pretty young and we saw what he could do, I really got into him as a fan. And, I've been going to the games. At first, I wasn't great about figuring out how to get autographs at games. And then, you kind of do. You just follow the people who know what they're doing. And I was there with my father-in-law at one game, and I bought a jersey fresh that day from the pro shop. And I'm like, man, today's the day. I'm going to get this damn thing signed. I want this on my wall. And it was a Lakers game, so it was tough. That's a pretty bonkers game. They only come out here once, right? LeBron's a part of it. So, I wasn't sure, but I got there early, got in position, and he happened. It's always a dice roll. There's two ways to go out. It's a 50-50 shot. I picked right, and I was right on the corner. He signed the jersey, and I don't even remember what I said, but my father-in-law was taking a video of it. So I said something like, man, you just made my year, or something like that. And the jersey, it's still right behind the guitar. It's on that wall over there. I still have it on the wall.
That's sick. I think he's awesome. That's a great choice. And I met him his rookie year, and he was really nice.
Yeah, he signs all the time for fans. He's great. He's a class
He
act.
does. He signs a lot at games. He does.
So good.
All right. So for me, I'm not going to do I have so many stories about the Celtics, similar to Nick, but I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to actually go back to my college days. So just a little bit of a background. I grew up in Foxborough, Massachusetts, and I worked for the Patriots growing up.
Wow, what a job.
I believe that I had the coolest high school job of anybody. I worked at the Pro Shop, which is all right. It's a retail store. Who cares? But in the summers, me and one of my very good friends, our boss entrusted us to go travel with the team down to training camp in Rhode Island and run the shop down there.
Wow.
And not only do we run the shop, but we got to stay in the dorms with the players. We got to eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, and like the high calorie snack at night.
What the heck? That's cooler than working at a card shop.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. So
era?
this was like Bledsoe
McGinnis?
Bledsoe was still QB. Brady's like rookie year. I was still doing it. Actually, no, they might have been done by that point, but it was kind of right around that. Bledsoe was there. That's what the story's going to be. So I remember I never asked, because it was my job, right? So I never asked for autographs when it was my job. And I was around, my favorite player growing up was Ty Law. I was around Ty Law all the time, and Terry Glenn, and playing basketball with Pete Carroll at night, and like all these crazy stories. But my soon to be father-in-law, it was at my time, my girlfriend's dad wasn't feeling well, and he was a big Bledsoe fan. And I was in the dorms, and Bledsoe came downstairs, and I'm like, you know what? This is going to cheer my girlfriend's dad up so much. I got to just go ask him for his autograph. And I grabbed a football, got it autographed, and like talk about major brownie points for my soon to be father-in-law. But that was no, both it's me, it's the sisters. So we married the sisters.
Yeah. So we're talking about the same person.
Yeah.
His
That's
name's
true.
Ray.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's weird. You were talking about bringing Tim to the game.
Yeah. Crazy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is weird. Jeez. I didn't even put that together.
Weird. Yeah. It's so funny.
That's a
That
good
is
catch.
wild. I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
what is going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Same guy.
Okay, so when
So
you met
that
Bledsoe,
was-
he signed the ball for you, and for your
Yeah.
for-
He signed the ball for me. And that was the only time during work I ever asked for an autograph. And yeah. So that's the one that sticks out.
I think you got
What a-
hazed on
what
that
a
trip
job.
too.
What a job! That's
I did-
incredible.
There's a great hazing story. We'll save that for another. We'll save that.
Yeah, I
for
want to
another-
know. I can't leave unless you tell the
just say it, LZ. It's a great story. Come on, let's hear it.
Okay. So I had been working there for probably 5 summers at this point. So I was not a rookie anymore. But one of my good friends, we're in the dorms, and he was kind of a quote unquote rookie because it was his first year working the Pro Shop. And we're sitting in our dorm, and we brought we had like PlayStation going, and we're sitting in the dorm, and we hear this knock on the door, and we hear a "excuse me," and I go to the peephole and I look through the door, and it's Ty Law, Willie McGinnis, and Rod Rutledge at the door, and they say, "We hear there's a rookie in there. You better let us in. We're gonna shave his head." And my buddy had this great mop of hair, like fantastic, like late 90s, like just perfect head of hair. And he's like, "Don't let him in. Don't let him in." And I just like stood there and ignored him. And Ty Law said, "We could do this the easy way or the hard way." And my buddy goes, "Do it the hard way. Do it the hard way." So they end up disappearing. We go back to playing video games. And probably about a half an hour later, they come back, they knock on the door. But this time I hear a set of keys going into the lock. I go run over the peephole, So it's the three of them again, but they brought a security guard with them. They busted into the room, and my buddy's in the corner, and he's like, "Oh no!" Ty Law comes strutting into the room, and he grabs my buddy, and he's like, "Are you the rookie?" And he's like, "Yeah, I am." He admits it, and my buddy's like, "All right, Ty, I'll let you shave my head," because that was the hazing. They were shaving all the rookies' heads. He's like, "I'll let you shave my head, but if you shave my head, you gotta let me drive in your Ferrari." Because that was the big thing. Him and Terry Glenn used to bring like Lambos and Ferraris to these training camps. It was unbelievable. And they used to show them to us. So Ty goes, "Okay. Because all I know is if you crash that car, it ain't going to be the Patriots Pro Shop. It's going to be Ty's Pro Shop."
Oh my
And
God.
he grabs my buddy like by the head, drags him down the hall. We go into a bathroom, and there's a bunch of rookies like lined up. There's like 6 chairs. They're all getting their heads shaved. They plot my buddy down. And again, this beautiful mop of hair he had, and they just went right down the middle of it. took it all off. I don't know if he ever did get a ride in the Ferrari, but yeah, it's just I have so many stories, so many crazy stories like that. It's wild. Yeah, it was.
We need to have Ty Law in here to like. You gotta
do.
meet. You met Ty Law since like all this.
I haven't actually. No,
Yeah, he
we
does-
got to have Ty on.
Yeah, we might need to
We
make
have
that
to.
happen.
That would
We
be
have to.
Tell his side of the story.
That was so good. Wow. What is
Awesome.
when you're in high school going and staying in the dorms? Like I feel like that's such a
Yeah,
cool experience that most people don't get.
it really was. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
pretty
playing
awesome.
pick
I
up
give
basketball.
you
and-
props too because like, and I kind of feel this now traveling, and like being with players is like I don't get that autograph itch because I'm around them. Like with Cade, I got him to sign a couple things, but it wasn't like a grapher. I felt like I was in the professional setting to just be professional, and it just kind of wore off because I was just having good conversations with them. And I feel like you did that pretty well with your Patriots job. You kind of just once you're working in it, you kind of just it's not that you can't and you're breaking the rules. It kind of just wears off. Don't you feel that?
Yeah, absolutely. It does. Right? They just become less celebrities and more just like humans, like coworkers. You're like, well, I know Ty because he used to actually. We have these big ramps right next to the stadium, and he used to run the ramps every day after practice. And it's like, do I really want to go bother Ty while he's running ramps? Like, no, he's working right now, right? So they just become more normal people trying to do their job.
Sure.
Yeah.
Great.
Cool. That's great. I
Yeah.
haven't heard that story for a while. I mean, I've heard it many times, but not for a while. So
Yeah,
that's
you guys
cool.
should just do a segment on these stories, man. These are great.
Yeah, for sure.
We should. We
All right.
definitely should.
So Jay, if I think if anybody wants to follow you or reach out or kind of watch your adventures, what are some of the places they can follow you? I know your YouTube channel's growing and doing well. So where can they find you?
Yeah, we're on Instagram, Mojo Sports LLC. We're on YouTube, Mojo Sports. We're also on Twitter, Mojo Sports LLC, and then we're on Whatnot as well. And you guys should check it out.
Cool. Yeah, he's got some
Awesome.
great videos, everyone. Lots of deals. Like you said, you travel and you seem to go to just about every show, and you're always hanging out with cool athletes and everything. So thank you for coming on. This is awesome. You got to ask us some questions too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was great, Jay. Thank you for that.
was good. I know. We got to do
Yeah.
it again.
We might have to do that more often.
Yeah,
We
Awesome.
do.
All right, everyone. This has been another episode of Sports Card Madness. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. And yeah, thanks everyone. See you next week.